In this vast world, there are two big camps, two opposing groups. It's not Democrats or Republicans, it's not milk first or cereal first, though I am milk first, fight me. It's not sub or dub, it's none of these. It's those who think Shikanokonokonokokoshitantan is art and idiots. Truly smart people, appreciative of art, will be able to see this masterpiece for what it is. A beautiful piece of comedic gold. On a serious note, I have seen an odd amount of people hating on the show, saying things like, it's just brain rot, as if those very same people aren't constantly yelling load taper fade and skibbity toilet rizzler gyat in Ohio. So this video is gonna be of me proving those people wrong, using the science of animeology to really break this show down and tell you exactly why Shikanokonokonokokoshitantan is a goddamn masterpiece. If you come to agree with me, learn something new, or just enjoy a madman's rambling, leave a like and subscribe. My name is NoahBoahCoah, and as always, thank you for watching. So let's get right to it. We first have to find out the nature of the show in order to properly diagnose it, and it obviously is a gag anime. Its primary goal is comedy and to make people laugh. So I'm not gonna sit here and analyze the plot because frankly, there is none. The closest thing we get to it are the characters' motives. Toriko wants to live a quiet normal life free from her ex-delinquent ways. Shikanoko is, sHiKaNoko. She likes deer crackers? But even without a real plot, characters still exist. In my last video, I talk about how to make a good protagonist with the 3 rules of writing them. They must have defined personalities and describable traits with flaws to add some sort of tension, they must be proactive, and the show must only work due to their direct influence, and finally, they must fit the goals of their show. Let's see how the characters fit each one. Toriko is proud, she's almost arrogant, she's kind but brash, and she cares too much. There are flaws there, like her caring too much, which creates tension with each episode, which is ultimately relieved through comedy. When I say tension, I don't mean that in a sense where we are actively feeling tense, I mean that in a way where there's some incongruity and contradiction between her characters. Essentially, they must have multiple sides. In Toriko's case, it makes the absurd bullshittery Shikanoko pulls a big deal for her, making her react in a comedic way. Next, she must be proactive. She doesn't have a dream to be the best like no one ever was or anything, but she still has defined goals. To get Shikanoko to not let everyone know of her past life while being free of her tomfoolery. Everything in the show happens because she works towards these goals. She must stay by Shikanoko in order to prevent her from spilling the beans, which gets her more and more involved with the stupid shit that happens. Finally, she fits the show perfectly. She plays a straight man here to fill the Three Stooges dynamic. That fits the comedic style of the show. Her characteristics cause for the comedic scenes this show targets, and all of these extend to Shikanoko and Bashame too. Shikanoko is absent-minded, carefree, sloppy, animalistic literally, but perfect. That is the tension. She seems divine, and even though she is so imperfect, the way that things always go her way is the tension that creates comedy. She is also proactive. Her goal is to do whatever the hell she wants and to also get some deer crackers. She does everything she can to do both of those things, which in conjunction with Toriko makes for some killer chemistry between them. She also plays an obvious role in the Three Stooges dynamic, so she fits the show. Bashame is also pretty absent-minded and silly, but she's also pretty cunning at times. Her goal is to have a rice farm and to become a deer. She does everything she can to do those things, and her goals go against Toriko's, creating further tension. She also plays a role in the comedic trio. So by my standards, these 3 morons are the perfect comedic trio. They make the show, and it goes to show that this anime is already so much more than just brain rot. So right now, we've established a crazy strong foundation of characters, but how does a story use them? How is it funny? Why is it funny? Well, let's look at what exactly makes something funny. This article from Scientific American Journal by Giovanni Sabato does a good job at explaining it. There are multiple working theories as to what makes something objectively funny. We all know the feeling, we all know when something is funny, but we don't know why. To summarize this article, there are 3 main theories as to what makes something funny. The 3 theories go as followed. The theory of Schadenfreude, first proposed by Plato and other Greek philosophers and later refined by modern psychologists. The theory of release, made popular by none other than John Psychology himself, Sigmund Freud, and the theory of incongruity. And I don't know which one is the whole truth, no one does, but I think that every one of them has some value. So I'll explain the three and tell you how it is applied in Shikanokonokonokokoshitantan. I want to first talk about the theory of release, as I think it has the least to do with what makes something funny. It's more like a background to everything that is funny. That's just my personal take. I think it explains the setup of a joke where there is some rising tension, some question or some uncertainty, and then a punchline to relieve it. The other two I'll talk about will have to do with it, as every joke does take this format, but it doesn't really have much to do with why something is funny. So onto the second one. Schadenfreude is a compound word that derives from German, Schaden meaning harm and Freude meaning joy respectively. Put together, it means the joy brought by the misfortune of others. This theory states that every joke has a butt, a victim. Something or someone must be the butt of the joke. In a Three Stooges dynamic with a dedicated straight man, the straight man often acts as this butt. In the case of this show, it is often Toriko. She wants to live a normal life, but her life is made miserable due to everyone around her. But, get it? Like the butt of a joke?
But, again, but also like the conjunction.
It also doesn't always have to be a character in a show that is the victim. It could be the audience. When I made that shitty pun that all of you groaned at, you were the victim. So this seems like a pretty good theory that covers most bases. However, there are some cases where I just don't think it works. For example, this scene. Bashame is eating rice like a freak. Who is the butt of this joke? Is it the audience? I guess slightly, but I think a better way to categorize this is with another theory. The theory of incongruity can be best and most simply described as an expectation and a reality. There must be some inconsistency, some juxtaposition between the expected outcome and the actual one. But there's also a caveat to this. Imagine I'm talking to you and greet you and ask you, hey, you know what my girlfriend said yesterday? With a giddy grin on my face, and though you expect a joke, I pull out a knife and start viciously and violently stabbing you. That is not funny. But why? It's an expectation broken, right? That's the caveat here. The broken reality must be innocent enough. In other words, a benign violation. Some rules must be broken with expectations and reality, but it must be benign enough where it isn't offensive. In the same article, Sabato writes, humor results, they propose, when a person simultaneously recognizes both that an ethical, social, or physical norm has been violated, and that this violation is not very offensive, reprehensible, or upsetting. Hence, someone who judges a violation as no big deal will be amused, whereas someone who finds it scandalous, disgusting, or simply uninteresting will not. Sex jokes are perfect examples of this. They're on the touchier side of comedy, literally and figuratively. They're uncomfortable enough to be weird to talk about, but as long as the timing and punchline are light and benign enough, it can be made funny. Bashame eating rice like that, in my opinion, is a benign violation. Who the hell in their right minds eats rice like that? It's unexpected, it's weird, but it's also benign enough where we aren't offended, which is why it's such a funny scene. And this show constantly does funny things like that. Every joke is unexpected, every joke is different, it's a new spin on an old joke, or it's a completely new one. A big problem that many quote-unquote comedies run into is that they are not unexpected. They just fall into cliches or shitty tropes. Wow, haha, they accidentally touch boob, get it? It's just not funny anymore. All things start to become expected the more people do it, and naturally, they get less and less funny. They break the rule of incongruity. We as an audience now know that if a guy and a girl are together in a shitty rom-com, some bullshit accidental pervert thing is gonna happen. A lot of the times, it also breaks the benign violation rule, as too often, it just becomes sexual harassment. They go too far to the point where it's just uncomfortable. And I just don't get how studios and mangakas still haven't noticed this. I'm at the point where I think they know, but just don't give enough of a shit to come up with new material. So much in Shikanokonokonokokoshitantan is just so original, new, and fresh, and it hits every time. Like the shitty CGI deer, for example. Those are benign violations as well as incongruent. They noticed that the shitty CGI would make it awkward and stupid looking, but went with it anyways. And it's not just the fact that the CGI itself is funny, it's how they do things like that. How and when they do these bits of comedy. They're constantly getting the right timing. Exactly when something is unexpected, they pull something else. Even if it's something small. Look at this scene. Toriko gets angry and starts yelling at her. She poses a rhetorical question that we honestly don't expect an answer to, and even if we did expect one, the delivery on it is in such a way where it's incongruent to the tone of what Toriko is saying. That's the incongruity factor. Toriko is the butt of the joke, and it's also a benign violation. Answering a question like that in that awkward of a way is not normal. It's weird, it's a violation. Every scene in the show is gold, every bit of comedy is great, and the thing I like the most about it is the self-awareness. Seeing this, seeing the animation, seeing the delivery of every line and every scene, I can only imagine how much fun the production team from the voice actors and the sound designers to the animators had with this. This is a prime example of self-awareness. Everything that would normally be stupid and bad actually become art due to how extreme they are able to take it. They know the point of every scene and how exactly to deliver it in every aspect to maximize the value of it. It's great, so seriously watch it if you haven't. Everyone making it 100% had a stupid ton of fun making it, and I had a stupid ton of fun watching it and making this video as well. And anyone who isn't able to see how tasteful this show is, seriously just has bad taste. Well, there you have it. My name is NoahBoahCoah, and Shikanokonokonokokoshitantan. 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 鹿の子とことこ現れのこの子つのつのぴょこぴょこ見た目はおにゃの子近頃噂のなかなか際物お手並みいかほどへなチョコすごく昔からジャパンに生息鹿せんべいなら無限にくださいトナカイは仲間かも鹿は牛かでもまとめて食うても布ステップで踊ろう夜が明けるまで One, two, three 何度だってハンスして予測不可能視界色 Days アバンギャルドで Alright カオスマシマシいつの間に癖になってはちゃでめちゃな視界色 Days破天荒バチコンも何でもありルールなんてなし君の笑顔で元気満タンもしかして運命のままマイディア心のどこかで虎視眈々君とならいつまでも鹿の子の子の子虎視眈々鹿の子の子の子虎視眈々 And thank you for watching.